Good morning, StarCraft fans. This is day 3 of ASL 17. We're in the round of 8. We've got a PvP. As you can see, it's going to be Snow versus Bisu. And then who better to cast with me, our resident PvP expert? It's Gypsy93.
That's right, the Omni Gamer himself. I play every single race. 6 a.m. How are you feeling?
Doing good, man. Doing real good. I actually slept pretty well. Woke up early, actually. I woke up at 5 instead of lasting all the way until my alarm. So
Yeah.
I'm wide awake and I'm ready for these games. I want to see if my boy Snow, I've been calling for 6 seasons now to go the distance, or if we're going to have the legend himself, Bisu, stop him here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I think whoever wins today, I'd be super excited about. And we've been talking about how this round of 8 has been super, super amazing this season. And it hasn't failed to deliver. I mean, last week we had Best versus Sharp. Sharp came out on top against him, 3-1. Kind of a surprising result. And then we had Hero versus Rush, where Hero finally kind of got over this hurdle he's been having against Rush and then against Terran in general to make yet another run of 4. So that was super exciting. Guys, make sure to check out those Well, I mean, I'm sure most of you guys have if you're here, but and now Snow versus Bisu, like you're saying, just such a sick matchup. Even though for some people, it is a mirror matchup, but I mean, I think this is a great pairing.
Yeah, whenever I get to see two experts with the reverse face off versus each other, I get very excited for PvP. And actually, we're gonna get into highlights from their run so far in ASL. All right, well, what was hilarious about those highlights is I didn't recognize any highlights from season 17. They were all from previous seasons, but either way, this is going to be an epic series. Actually, I just casted some games of Snow in PvP for StarCastTV. He's got this. He does this move with goons. He has a couple goons on the left side, couple goons on the right side, and he just patrols back and forth around the perimeter. And anytime somebody comes in for a drop, it does almost no damage. He's the only person I see do this. The player, I'm not going to mention who he's playing against, so there's no spoilers. But the player that he was playing against was not doing it. I don't know if it's just a Snow thing, but he's just impenetrable to drops here. So I wonder if Bisu will actually do something different than just Reavers. Maybe he'll mix in DTs or, play Gateway Man.
Well, Snow's got a lot of moves, man. This guy's a smooth operator. Just look at him. Next time.
Well, I would sing it, but my voice is not exactly the greatest. Looking at that stat at the bottom, it says that his Protoss win rate is 65.7%. I had mentioned in previous ASL casts that I remember it being really high, but there's someone that has an even higher win rate, and that is Rain. I think his PvP win rate was legitimately 90%. It was absolutely absurd. But Snow, no joke in this matchup. I'm curious what Bisu's PvP win rate is, because in general, when you think of players that have really good Reaver control, you expect it to transition over into PvP because that's just been such a staple unit in the matchup. So I'm expecting this win rate to also be pretty damn high.
Yeah, but you know who Snow's lost to PvP?
Don't tell me it was a you.
It was Flash.
Oh no. I
Remember
remember
that?
that, yeah.
Yeah, it was
Well,
two. Was it just one game though on Optimizer? Or, yeah, it was just one game, right?
no, he lost
Or was
multiple.
it?
He lost the whole series, man. He lost on Eclipsed with the hidden base. He
Oh,
lost on
and that was
Optim.
also PvP, right?
Uh, yeah, he lost both of those, and according to someone I know, it's because Flash just abuses. He just got away with an abusive build.
Well, I remember the game on Optimizer was four one base four gate against an expansion four gate, and well, it turns out when you have the same production, your income doesn't really matter.
I see.
Uh, yeah, that was a great series. I feel like we haven't really had that many amazing PvP series in the ASL, and I'm trying to remember. Have we had? I mean, I'm sure we have had at some point. But has there been? Can you remember off the top of your head a PvP series in the bracket stage, like in the round of
No,
8 onwards?
no, actually, one of the graphics I didn't get to read it completely, but they were mentioning something about a first PvP. I don't know if it was this season or past few seasons or what the actual graphic said, but it definitely did say something about how we're lacking in PvP. So it is nice to see. And Troy's it's in the map pool, man. It's actually the fourth
Hmm.
map today, and Troy could be a cool map for PvP. Because what do you do there? Do you both double gate? Do you
I don't
both
know.
prevent each other from, uh, you know, taking down your similar? Do you want to get locked in? What if you lock in yourself and go for the fastest reaver of all time?
Is it- well, that's you've got a lot of great ideas. I think, Nyoken, you should probably be a Protoss player.
I should. You think they
I'm
have
I'm
recall?
quick, dude. I'm quickly looking back through, because someone's got to do their
Yeah,
homework.
yeah.
I found one PvP, uh, season 11 mini versus best, and I'm gonna keep going until I find another one. So that's already six seasons ago.
Yeah, that's a crazy, crazy.
I'm still going, man. Like, and I'm now at season 9. No other PvP. Season 7, no other PvP. So honestly, the too long didn't research. Oh, here we go. Season 7, Rain versus Harangi.
Mm.
I think in any case, I think there's not more than 5 PvPs in the round of 8 onwards. Yeah, Shuttle versus Rain in season 5. Anyway, we haven't had many, and this is years ago. The last PvP we've had was in season 11. So I think from that perspective, it's pretty exciting to have this matchup, and with these two players especially, because I would assume that they're very close in skill level. Obviously, Snow has been a bit more dominant in, well, not really. I mean, how do you think Snow has had better results in terms of tournaments than Bisu in the recent?
Well, I don't know about overall, like recent, like in the past 5 years, but I feel like this year, definitely. I mean, well,
Mm,
maybe not in
mm.
tournaments, but he's just killer right now. Right now, I think he's the Protoss to beat up there with Mini. I guess you can't ever discount Mini because he's just consistently beast moding all the time. We're getting a look at the map picks. Snow picked a 2-player map, Dark Origin, Apocalypse, then 4-player map. Then Bisu wants Troy, and then we've got Radeon as our last pick.
Yeah, I think this is going to be pretty interesting. I mean, Troy made it through. Did you see the bans? Because I was reading the chat.
No, I would have to look to see what the remaining maps were. We're getting a look at the PvP matchup between some of the players. In season
Hmm.
5, there's Mini versus Snow, where Snow won 3-1, and then under that is, I think that says Rain versus
Yeah,
Snow, where
yeah.
Rain won. And then I don't see anybody else,
Oh
either
yeah, that
Bisu
was
or
the
Snow.
that was that was the season. Yeah, you see, this is all the PvPs there've been in
Yeah.
And that season 5, that was the season where they had the most insane map pool. We're talking about Third World and Sparkle.
Was that
Yeah.
season 5?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, because Snow played Rain in the final. Remember that? I barely remember that.
I
That
barely.
actually sounds familiar, but yeah, like Snow beat Flash in the semis.
Well, that's where I learned about Rain's insane win rate because I couldn't believe it. I was like,
Right.
what does that graphic say?
Yeah.
It's...
Well, I mean, you gotta think the sample size is pretty low if they're rarely playing against each other. But riddle me this. I mean, Protoss 42.5% on ladder, but no PvPs in ASL.
Don't know how that works out.
Hmm.
You know, actually, I was looking to see on Wikipedia how many times Snow and Bisu have faced off, you know, in the past couple years. And in 2023, it seemed like they've only played each other about 8 times. The score was 4-4. So this seems like it's going to be a pretty dead even matchup. Of course, the games were from a year ago. They're in March of 2023. So maybe someone's leveled up since then. We're looking at the run of Bisu from previous seasons. Let me see if anything stands out to me here.
No,
it's been a while actually since we've seen Bisu as far along in the tournament. You know, season 14 was his last appearance in the round of 8.
Yeah, season 14, well, and 13. So, he's had some pretty decent success, I feel like. I wasn't actually paying attention when they showed the Snow graphic, but I think he's had more appearances than Snow. No?
Yeah,
because that is,
What is that? Oh, okay, that's the matchup
when they
between
played
those
in.
two.
Yeah, they played in Group C in the round of 16 in season 11.
Yep, so been a while since they've actually played in a tournament.
That was Snow 2-0. Okay.
He's looking to make it 5-0 today.
Yeah, he'll be hoping for that.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're getting closer to the start of the first game here, and I read this comment on Reddit about sometimes some of these players they don't bring the largest crowds in the what's it called in the studio, and someone was talking about how how come there's no attendance, but I remember specifically we were casting that, and I was also thinking, it's a bit empty here. But then I went to look at the stream viewers, right? Like the stream numbers, because the Koreans, they all like co-stream and everything, and they were insane. I mean, it was like, I don't know, like 50K or something.
Yeah, I'm sure people like Calm and C and Harangi and that crew, I'm sure they get thousands upon thousands of viewers.
I mean, everyone's watching this, so don't delude yourself if you think that. Well, if you go on, if you go and read anything on Reddit or any forum, of course you're a bit delusional, but just beware that it doesn't paint the full story. So yeah, I mean, again, this matchup is super exciting. I think both these players have a lot of fans. And,
people want to see Take Sheen make a return to form in season 17. See if he can actually find the title. Of course, myself, I love Snow. I think this guy is just god tier. I've been waiting for a long time for his breakout, and it seems like 2024 could finally be it. We're getting into game 1 as the players are ready. We've got Snow facing off versus Bisu on Dark Origin. Okay, I was trying to fix the music. In the top left, we have Snow.
Yeah, in the red, we have Snow. In the blue, we have Bisu on the bottom right. And you know what I've just realized, actually? Terran players have no fans.
What? C was here and he had the most fans out of everybody.
Oh, he doesn't really count as a...
he doesn't count, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
in general, if you think about like popular gamers, it's non-Terran players. Look at this, man.
I see it. This is going to be a proxy on the side.
You think this is the Raz special 1 gate?
I've been doing so many games lately. I think I casted a game for StarCast where somebody else also proxied like this. It was not a Protoss, but it was proxied on this type of location and it went unscouted. And then in the next game where it was 2 different players, one of them ended up scouting the side to make sure that didn't happen. And I don't think I've ever seen anybody scout the side except for that one game. So Snow, actually something I did also notice yesterday while I was casting, Snow doesn't scout often in PvP. So I feel like Snow's already in massive trouble here.
Oh, I was looking at the Bisu's probe going back, but it's just to adjust the scout timing here. And looks like Snow, he's kind of aware that this might be a 2 gate.
Yeah.
But he's looking in the wrong places.
Oh, cybernetics. And with that cybernetics done, Snow's in trouble. This is as good as it could possibly go for Bisu in terms of opener. I feel like he came in at a normal scout timing, you know, even though I don't play PvP, like I don't look at it and say to myself like, wow, this seemed really fast. This seems like pretty normal. That pylon at the front being pretty normal. Now this all of a sudden looks a little fishy. You got a pylon right outside your gate. Generally you would be blocking their mineral patches with this pylon.
Yeah, I mean this already kind of tells, but it's a huge tell, but he's still mining gas and hasn't started a second gate, so it's going to be really hard for Snow to hold this. The first zealot does come in for Bisu, and this should be triggering alarm bells inside of Snow's mind. Looks like Bisu's already on top of these probes. You know, Snow doesn't really want to mine gas right now. He doesn't really need it. He needs a second gate desperately. That's a 6 around.
Oh he is so sick with his control. It has 1 health, by the way, and that means that he has eliminated the biggest threat of the beginning zealot. He's got batteries coming down, but also there's a battery on the left side, so the goon gets walled in. I still think this is okay though, because okay, actually that's a Bisu battery on the left side also. So double.
Oh my god! He killed another zealot, man. And he surrounded the zealot. I've never seen this in my life, Nyoken. I think if Snow holds this, it's the most god hold ever, but it's still gonna be hard. I mean, his goon is blocked, and he's 1 gate against 2 gate. I mean, he did kill the first 2 zealots, almost killed 3 zealots, but if he loses this goon, I don't know, this is just so hard. Okay, the pylon does go down, goon does escape, second goon is out as well for Snow, so he is going to be microing this out of his mind. Oh my god, the pros as well, 2 zealots from Bisu go down. Bisu only has 3 zealots in the main. Most of Snow's probes do go down, but, you know, if Snow gets this snowball rolling with the goon count, he might be able to hold this.
Yeah, he might. Like right now, he's got enough goons out in the field that he doesn't need to build goons anymore. He just needs to be zealots. But I think Bisu, he's killed enough probes here that Snow can't really build much more. But I gotta say, this is probably the best hold I've ever seen in PvP. Like the micro with the zealot in particular and the probes have been absolutely nuts. But also the goons really haven't even taken that much damage. Did he finally catch a goon at the bottom? The answer is no. These 5 probes blocking with the goons are absolutely insane. And by the way, Bisu's all in with this. There is no gas. There is nothing as a follow-up. It's just zealots. And now that he's held with 3 goons, you gotta imagine that we're just gonna counter and this game could be over.
Dude, that was incredible. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. Snow is a god, man. He killed the first couple zealots and he just held this. I mean, I don't know, you know, I don't play PvP. There's no secret. I'm not sure how often you're supposed to hold it like Snow did here, but that was that was incredible.
How often you hold it? I mean, it's
I
gotta
don't
be
think
never.
You do. Like, don't you always put
locked.
down a second game? Yeah, I just don't understand how he did it. But okay, well, first goon does go down for Snow. But I mean, he's just so far ahead. Bisu now mining his gas. Well, his gas has been built. He's not mining it just yet, but he's a long ways away from goons.
Yeah, he's super far along. And because of how fast the Zealot got into Snow's base, he knows that this gate was proxy. There's no way that Bisu built this in his main and rallied it across the map. And this goon is still alive. It's still getting healed up by the battery. Okay, fourth goon out. Now the tides are completely turning in favor of Snow. At this point, he's got enough goons where he can start really deepsing those Zealots, and they're going to be dying real fast. Snow is supply blocked, though, so that kind of hurts.
I like this move out from Snow. He's trying to look for the proxy. It is still difficult in a sense for Snow because he doesn't want to move out with all his goons, obviously, since the Zealots are going to keep coming to his base. But, I mean, I think it looks like he's cleared most of it and finally finds the proxy. He knows there's no goons hanging around his base. He double-checked with the last two Dragoons as well. I mean, I gotta say, Snow's playing out of his mind.
Well, that's a hurt goon. Yeah, he's got a micro. Wow, there's 5 Zealots here. There's actually a lot of DPS. This is going to be a hard micro battle. More Zealots. Wow, I can't believe that none of those were goons that popped out.
I mean, it goes without saying just how incredible Snow is, but like he's making this look so easy. These Dragoons have a chance of just getting stuck every time they shoot. And the fact that they're basically never getting stuck, you never see them not move, and they're always shooting, and he's only really lost one. I mean, Snow has played phenomenally well to hold this. It's incredibly hard. I mean, usually the default response, I think almost no Protoss would be comfortable just making goons in that situation. They probably want to go into 2-gate Zealot, but Snow with some insane micro, with the probe surrounds over the Zealots. Now, I mean, this looks like an impossible game for Bisu to win.
There are so many goons out at this point. What I would actually like to see Snow do is build one Zealot and send it across the map. He's got enough goons where I think he can... Okay, this might have been an overstep. Because remember, there is so many Zealots. But the thing is Snow has range, whereas Bisu doesn't. Look how he snipes it from downtown. Meanwhile, he's microing 2 fronts. I told you, this guy is nuts, controlling both sides of the goons. And what did Bisu lose? 2 or 3 goons already? Now there's 8 goons out for Snow. There's still a decent amount of Zealots, but what are they going to do? They can't hit the goons.
Snow is Protoss incarnate, man. Who cares about his Reaver micro? Look at his Dragoons. They're just insane. He's just running laps around Bisu, and I mean, this, if you're Bisu, I think it's really demoralizing, you know? I mean, when a game goes this poorly, you had the Proxy 2-gate, there was no scout on it, and Snow was doing possibly the best thing, well, that Bisu could hope for, and it still didn't work out. It got completely slapped down, and now Snow, I mean, he gets to just feel himself, just running laps around him.
He's going to kill every goon and lose nothing.
I don't know if... Look at Bisu's reaction, man. He just felt stomped, man.
I can't believe that he lost almost nothing in any of those battles. What did he lose? He lost one of the goons, you know, after it had microed for like 3 minutes straight. He how long did it take for him to lose his actual Zealot? Like, that thing, every time I looked, I'm like, that's going to go down, that's going to go down. But what ended up happening was Bisu getting surrounded by probes and losing his Zealots. Remember, he had double battery, by the way, and yet he wasn't able to keep his Zealots alive.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure that despite the fact that Snow held this, I mean, theoretically, this should be a favorable position for Bisu. But look at the Zealot. I mean, he just let it get caught like that for no... of course, that was great micro from Snow, but conversely, you got to look at it from Bisu's perspective. He's going to be kicking himself, like, how did I just lose my first Zealot for free like that? Because look, the Zealot and probe here killed 2 probes, another probe as well. That first Zealot should have at least traded for 1 probe, if not 2. So Bisu, of course, and then he should have these 3 Zealots right now with double shield battery. But look, one other zealot got caught, and then this zealot also got surrounded. So honestly, Bisu, if he's looking at this replay, of course, no, he's gonna feel. I think he's gonna feel a bit lucky because you can't really reliably recreate those probe surrounds in a game. But Bisu's gonna be a bit unhappy with how he executed that rush.
Yeah, I'm getting kind of, a flashback to when we had, what was it, DeWalt versus Bonneth and BSL, one of the matches where DeWalt had batteries, but his first zealot ended up dying, and then, Bonneth had the miraculous hold there. Like, I kind of feel like the same thing there. If that first zealot doesn't get it instantly picked off, Bisu kills a couple more probes. The game snowballs a little bit too hard. Snow's econ can't allow him to catch up. But either way, that was an amazing hold from Snow. We're going into a break, and we'll be back in a couple minutes. And we are back. We're about to get into game number 2. Snow just had a sick hold versus Bisu. And now Bisu, who I think was really relying on getting a win there, he's going to have to come up with something special because that aggressive play that he played did not work out.
Yeah, I mean, that was just completely a disaster for Bisu. And now Snow's up 1-0. It's a good feeling, honestly, when you hold something like that and then you're up 1-0. It feels almost like a free win. And yeah, I mean, that was Snow's pick. And now we're going to be going into Apocalypse, which is a 3-player flat map. And 3-player flat maps can be, and by flat map, I mean between the main and the natural. They can be really tricky because you can be very aggressive when there's no ramp in PvP. And the 3-player map part of it makes it that scouting is a bit unreliable as well. So we'll have to see if Snow has something tricky here, or if they're going to play a nice standard game.
Okay, in the bottom left up, 1-0, we've got Snow.
And in the bottom right, the blue Protoss, Bisu.
Yeah, now I know you can proxy on this map, and actually can be super deadly, but after Bisu failed on Dark Origin, I feel like the chances of that happening back-to-back is quite low. So I think if I was Snow here, probably open exactly like I did last game, which is Gate Cybernetics.
Yeah. Yeah, and I realized I meant Bisu doing something tricky yet again, but Snow, I wouldn't be expecting to be playing. Damn, man.
There's so many foreigners there.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. Everyone's here to watch Bisu. 20 hours to watch Bisu? That's not a big commitment.
Yeah, definitely.
I've been waiting my whole life.
Yeah.
Well, Bisu did place the in-base pylon. And like you mentioned, Dan, Snow doesn't really like scouting this matchup, so we'll see what he chooses to do in this game. But so far, well, you know, of course, here's the problem with Proxy 2 gating, right?
What, it's not 1999?
I mean, it's very unlikely he's going to do it twice, especially when the first time it failed, right? So that's kind of out of... I feel like Snow, he doesn't really have to worry about that build again this series. And, you know, that frees up a lot of mental tax. I mean, I don't think we're ever going to see a... That's one thing that we rarely see at the top level in Korean, you know, the top Korean PvP level. No one, it seems to me like no one ever goes 2-gate. It's really rare. I mean, in-base 2-gate or something like that, they all prefer the 1-gate core. And it's because of stuff like we saw last game, Snow's incredible micro. I mean, they all have incredible control.
Yeah, it's really hard to make it work. And this time around, we did have double scout. We got both players scouting. Equal timing, but a little bit luckier for Snow. He's looking for that pylon block, but not able to get it. Both players instantly build a goon. Got my eyes locked on that gas. Will anybody put down a citadel? Will anybody go range first? Will they go, you know, robo? There goes range for Bisu.
I think Snow... Well, I'm actually curious here, because I wasn't paying attention, but... Oh, there's a Manor Pylon. That's massive. It does block 2 probes. Okay, he has to unstock one of those probes, and actually both players skip the first Zealot, which is... Well, I don't know how, you know, how often you want to do this. Generally, Protosses all enjoy opening the first Zealot, but on this map especially, there's no ramp to hold with your first Zealot. So for example, Snow could have went a Zealot on another map. If it was a ramped map, 3-player map, he could have actually denied the probe scout from Bisu, but because the choke is wide open here, it's kind of hard to do that. So both players opening with the goon.
Yep, and this is actually Citadel opening from Snow. This looks like it's going to be Robo opening for Bisu. And you know, there's been a lot of games where, oh, it is not. It is a 3-gate, and this is just a mega hard counter. Like,
yeah. Bisu just picking the wrong builds here. 3-gate's super strong on these maps because, again, without the ramp, you don't have that defender's advantage in terms of the goon mischance. So you can bust a lot of robotics plays here. But unfortunately for Bisu, the one build Snow's going is DTs. And like you mentioned, I mean, this basically just wins the game.
Yeah, this is as big of a hard counter as there can possibly be. I guess the one hope for Bisu is there's a big entrance, right? Like maybe he can micro the probes down while he gets his own main shot down. But
Yeah.
other than that, like, he obviously can never engage the DTs. He needs to have his game sense tingling right. Oh, what is this? Is this Speed Citadel or Speed Zealous? Why is there a 4-gate as a follow-up? Is this me?
I
is
mean,
this me
I don't
playing?
know. You know, what else would it be? Of course it's 4-gate. When you go DTs.
DT?
DT 4-gate. You never heard about that?
This is my build, dude. This is what I do.
Yeah.
I go DT, and then I realize, like, oh, it didn't win the game. I better continue to all in, and I go Speed Zealots. I don't think you can support 4-gate Goon on one base.
No, you can. 100% you can. It's just completely cut probe production. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know what this is good against. Looks like Bisu is coming, and actually Snow, okay, he does pull back one of the DTs. I was going to say, just defending with the 3 goons is going to be rough. I mean, it's annoying here for Snow. Of course, that's a lot of goons, and he can't really fight them straight up with his goon count, so the 1 DT has to sit here and provide additional damage. But Bisu's already in, and he's going to be working on these probes long before Snow's DT gets inside of his base. But looks like Bisu, he didn't build a forge. Yeah. He's relying on this robotics facility, and actually I think he might be able to skip. Okay, no, he just GG's.
Hello guys, Nyoken here. Unfortunately, I had to edit this portion of the stream because I accidentally included the music. And as you guys know, we are not allowed to include the music during the YouTube broadcast. So with that said, let's get into Game 3 between Bisu and Snow. Okay, in the top left, we did have Snow.
Yeah, on the bottom right. In the blue, it's Bisu.
Something has changed with my VLC. Like the audio's levels in the middle. Usually it's on the right side. Like I'm getting trolled. I keep looking. I'm like, where's the audio, man? It's not on the right anymore.
Dude, it's just an update, man.
Yeah, but I don't update, man. I'm staying on. If I could stay on Windows XP, I would have stayed on Windows XP.
What about Windows 98?
Well, I don't know about that far back, but...
Okay.
XP...
See, you're selective too, dude.
Windows XP, Windows 7...
What
Windows
if the next
10?
Windows update is like XP 2?
We're instantly upgrading.
Oh.
Look at this, we've got cross spawns. So as far away as possible.
Yeah, well, Citadel is also a bit of a tricky map in PvP because the ramp is not... I mean, there's no real high ground to hold. So we could actually see aggressive builds, aggressive 3-gate builds like Bisu did in the previous game that didn't really quite work out. But it's still part of the pool of build orders you have to think about. And it was interesting that actually neither player went for the Zealot when they opened, and I think it's kind of telling that they're just not expecting, especially after game 1, for there to be stuff like 2-gate. So I wouldn't be surprised. Well, on this map though, you can hold the ramp with the Zealot, I'm pretty sure, against the probe, so that does increase the value of the Zealot. And like you mentioned, Dan, looks like Snow's also not opting to scout yet again.
It's just something that I noticed that he just doesn't do that often. He really wants to get his eco going. He does play in the dark a little bit. Bisu, on the other hand, he wants to know what he's facing, so he does go for somewhat quick scout. He's not going to find him in the first position, but now he'll loop around to the left side. And here comes Snow. I guess, you know, at this point, you need to have a little intel, because this is a 4-player map. You need to at least know where the guy spawns.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the tricky part with not scouting, is you don't know where to send your units. So, of course, he does have to get out on the map. He is going to scout cross first.
Zealot holding the line for both sides, trying to get into that sweet spot so neither worker can pass through. I think Snow has found the spot here. Ooh.
Yeah, and this is kind of the drawback, especially on a 4-player map. Like, you don't want to pylon scout. So, the probe has to get inside of the base to see anything of significance. The probe has to get inside of the base before the Zealot is out, right? but that's very unlikely on a 4-player map, unless you scout really early. But if you scout really early, you're wrecking your economy like a Pylon Scout. Pylon Scout probably gets in 2 bases out of 3. But the scout from Bisu only gets in on the first scout. So if you think about it that way, Snow, I think he understands. It's really unlikely that scouting early in this matchup gives you any benefit.
Look at this. I'm watching a probe kill a probe while a goon is, facing off versus that probe. He almost ends up killing that probe, and Bisu did just spend a lot of money. Okay, so did Snow. It is just going to be finally what I would consider a normal opener. It's 1 gate robo with range from both sides.
Yeah, and well, they don't know that yet, so it's still up in the air. Could be Citadel's any side, but of course Bisu, he is on a must-win map, so.
Pylon being positioned at the third base. This is just to check or get a little bit of vision for incoming shuttles. And Snow, I think, is going to put down a second gate in a moment. Meanwhile, Bisu, Robo about to finish. Neither player has shown what the tech is going to be, whether it's going to be Reaver or Observer first.
Yeah, well, I think staying on 1 gate is going to be Robotics very quickly. And actually, Snow, I think he's actually going to go for a Nexus. Oh, where did Bisu's extra money go? Snow's gonna put down a Nexus for sure.
I'm not sure where the money went for Bisu, but Snow definitely has a lot more built up. Maybe it's 1 additional goon.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a Nexus in just a second.
Well, 1 gate OBS Nexus, especially on a map like this, is scary, because this here is bordering on the 3 gate timing. If Bisu went 3 gate like he did on Apocalypse, he'd be smashing through Snow right now. But of course, he did that last game and it failed horribly. So in Snow's mind, it's just very unlikely that Bisu would do that yet again. I mean, it's very unlikely to do the same build twice when the first time it failed super hard. So both players actually expanding.
It did look like Snow was going to get a faster Nexus, but it's actually Bisu, who technically has it like a couple seconds ahead. Bisu's up 2 supply. Not sure where that supply has gone. Reaver is going to be coming out for both sides in just a moment. I don't think there's an Observer out just yet. I see something going across the map, but I don't think that's an OB. Maybe it is. Okay, I guess it is an OB.
I mean, they're both on identical builds here, so that's pretty exciting. The Observers are out for both players. Bisu looks like, I mean, it's scary here with the 1 gate robo play, the OBS into Reaver. It's scary to push out your OBS because it's also on very close to DT timing, but I think DTs would be hitting a bit earlier. It's kind of rare for your opponent to just pull up DTs and then send them in late, but it is hard to know, like, do you push out onto the map with the OBS, or do you keep it at home in case there are DTs? But at this point, both players kind of know what's up, I think. They both get a good feeling for just these being mirror builds.
Bisu's up, 6 supply. That's no joke right there. Curious at how many of that supply is actually probes. You do have both players loading up at the exact same time, but Bisu's a little farther out onto the map.
And it's you have to be really confident in doing this move out, because especially getting the OBS really cuts into your production, and they're both on just 1 gate openers, so they really have to have identified that they're basically kind of in the same ballpark of production. But it looks like actually Snow is playing a bit more defensively. Bisu's the one who's going super aggro here.
Yeah, and this is kind of a tiny choke. I don't know if you want to commit here. Like, Citadel, it can be punishing, if you get into a bad angle. Probe spots the army, and Snow's probably thinking, like, wait a minute, you're all the way over here? How'd you get there?
Yeah, and that ramp is really interesting because not only, I mean, and of course it holds from the right side, but it actually helps in holding pushes coming into the left here too. So it's just really hard to push on this map, I think.
Yeah, and you see these goons? This is what I was talking about. He's the only one that I see make this move. However, he is out of position in his natural, but you can see what I was saying. Like, if the Reaver went to the right side, it could have been intercepted by those goons. He's just consistently moving the goons left and right. Bisu, by the way, completely vulnerable to drop. Like, there's no detection on the right side really at all. But Snow, of course, doesn't know that, so he's not going to, make a move like that, risk his entire opportunity in this game on, getting a lucky Reaver shot.
Yeah, but Bisu kind of correctly identified that they're doing the same build, so he took the tempo in his hands, and that's a small advantage that he has. And Snow's respecting it, just sitting back, and both players are going to just be macroing. Again, it's really hard to push here, but at the same time, you don't want to take your third too early, because if you take your third too early, it's going to cut into your production. Okay, Bisu does not run his shuttle into his opponent's army.
I think Bisu must have a probe lead because he's consistently higher in supply. It's close, right? But at points he's up around 10. There's more gates for Snow, though. I think it's 5 versus 4. So slightly better production. One goon ends up falling. Like, that's the kind of the only kill that we've seen this game. I think that's the second probe that's been taken down by the Reaver.
Yeah, and we're kind of in a very tactical phase of the game right now. It's all about movement. It's all about trying to see if, especially with shuttle speed, can you get in there? Can you do something? And not expanding too early, because if you expand too early and you just sit on your side of the map, suddenly it opens up harassment opportunities for your opponent, especially with shuttle speed. And then if you have to have a couple goons at your main, couple goons at your third defending everything, then suddenly your front might be exposed. So you can see this is a very intricate dance actually both these players are making. But double shuttle, you're assuming this is quad Reaver.
Yeah, and it seems like we're going to have an engagement, but I don't think Snow can win this battle. Bisu's army just looks so much bigger than Snow's. Like, there's so many more goons. I don't know how this has happened, but just from perspective, it looks like Bisu would overwhelmingly win a fight if something happened.
Well, here's the thing about the one shuttle versus two shuttles here is actually the one shuttle is much easier to control, and it can buy a lot of space on its own, but he can't lose that shuttle. Of course he won't. That's Snow, and he did pick off a couple of units here, and they're gonna go for an engagement. Bisu's just unloading 4 Reavers in front of everything, but actually I think Snow's getting a sick trade there, and the Reavers connect on top of Bisu's.
His Reavers haven't even gotten hit once. Supplies are now in favor of Snow. And that Reaver has been hit at least once. So one more Reaver shot onto those Reavers, they will die.
Snow is just incredible, and he's just pushing back Bisu so easily here. And I mean, there's something I feel like Snow has latched onto that. Well, it looks like harassment.
Okay, but the goons are in a good position. Oh, that was really sick timing. He almost had his natural broken with that Reaver drop, but he catches it in the nick of time. And again, look at the map. Look how the goons are spread. If Bisu sends a shuttle across the map, either the top side or the bottom side, they're gonna get intercepted by goons. And here comes round 2 into the natural.
Yeah, well, this time though, Bisu is totally ready for it, but behind the Snow is actually taking a third base, and it's going uncontested right now, so Bisu is also trying to get some harassment. Okay, the main is completely open actually for Snow, but it is hard to make that call to just commit into it. Bisu will though, however, and he might get rewarded for his efforts.
Yeah, but how's he escape now? Is he stuck? But look at this, Bisu's attacking at the same time he's attacking that third base. These Reavers are going to trade obviously very effectively. Look at the movement. But Bisu's army is massive on the left side. Where is Snow's Reaver? There's something at top right. Is that where his Reavers are? Did he forget about him?
Yeah, Snow caught a bit with his pants around his, down or whatever, and it looks like Snow, well, he does move back into position here. Double Reaver does unload, and that's a lot of firepower for him. Bisu does not have a second shuttle.
Oh, he's locked in. These goons. Oh my gosh, a huge shot. And observers immediately point out that there's the additional 25 damage upgrade on that Reaver. These goons are all gonna die. Bisu's desperately coming over to try and save this army, but look at this. Oh, snipes the shuttle. This is gonna be finally a good tree. Finally, Snow realizes that my shuttles at top right are not in this fight. He's desperately trying to get back into position. Supplies have plummeted for both sides. It's still around 100 for both.
That looked like a disaster almost for Bisu, but he did somehow manage to
Where's the shuttle?
Salvage it, but he lost his shuttle, so now it's just double Reaver against double Reaver plus shuttle. Of course, the shuttle is going to make a huge difference. He can dodge those Reaver shots easily, and I think actually Snow might be able to hold on to this Nexus. If he does defend this Nexus, he's basically won.
Oh, these shots are huge. So much damage. Almost all the goons die. Both of the Reavers died. And by the way, there's 2 more Reavers in addition to this, I think. There's like 4 Reavers out on the map for Snow. Bisu, he's desperate at this point. He knows he's got to do something, but he's just bleeding goons. This might actually be it.
Yeah, I think Snow's done it, man, with the quick 3-0 here. I mean, Bisu, he is expanding to mid-right, so he does have, he can fall back and... Oh, that's really late, actually.
Yeah, it is super late. Bisu's mined out in his main at this point. Third base is online for Snow. He is up 25 supply. He's so close to taking this game. His army is huge in comparison to Bisu's. His tech is obviously massively ahead, with the Reaver count being like 4-0 or maybe 4-1.
Yeah, and well, what can you do as Bisu right now except sit back and take the disadvantage?
Can't really do anything. I don't think there's anything that Bisu can do to get back into this game unless he had like a DT or something and try and, snipe some probes at the natural, because obviously the third base is not going to get sniped. There's a cannon there. But I don't think there was much defense at the natural, but Snow, he knows his position. He knows that he's done ridiculous amounts of damage to the goon count, and he's going to try, and no, I don't think he can actually push here, though. There's a lot of goons at the top side.
Yeah, Bisu can go for a nice flank, but where is his Reaver and Shuttle? It's very late to defending here. Finally does get into position. I think Snow's going to take that pylon. Again, pushing on Citadel is very difficult. And, okay, it looks like Snow... No, he will back up. Can he snipe that? No, he does not. That's a lot of goons from Bisu.
Yeah.
And this is not Snow's entire army.
Yeah, this seems like an overextension, but that shuttle, it is quick. And here comes the 4th Reaver.
Oh!
The shuttle gets immediately blown up, but there's still 4 Reavers, dude, and you're attacking the high ground.
Yeah, Snow did take position on top of that ramp. It's a huge advantage positionally. Well, more Reaver shots going off, more micro being done.
Are we watching the same thing? Like, he's microing 3 Reavers versus just 2. He hot picks up all 3 of them, only loses 1. Bisu lost both Reavers, by the way. And this has got to be it. Down 40 supply. Bisu knows it. And there it is, the GG.
Fat 3-0. Look at that smile. Damn. Impressive performance there from Snow. I mean, he kind of made a huge statement just holding that 2-gate in the first game. And it just went completely downhill there for Bisu. And in this last game, they basically had identical builds, and Bisu got essentially completely outplayed.
Yeah, I think there wasn't really any point in that game where Snow was under threat. Maybe, the Reaver drop in the main where he was slightly out of position. But other than that, the Scarab shots were killer. I think actually the first attack that Bisu made was the most impressive play from Snow, because what he did was he split up his goons. Like, he had some on the left, he had some at the top side. And I think it was hard for Bisu to manage, all that, because he's got to scroll to see the top side. Okay, am I getting hit there? Am I getting hit on the left side by the Reavers? He lost his Reavers immediately, whereas Snow lost none of them.
Well, one thing, and I think this is what is Snow's strength, is I think he understands, like, there's a concept I think that's being really established kind of late here into StarCraft's life. And it's this logistical problem of just attacking in this game, where Bisu took his entire army, like his entire army supply, and that's kind of like the old paradigm. Like, you just have to somehow engage with your whole army and be efficient with your whole army. and he was microing like double Reaver, not at this point, but in the first move out. And Snow was just microing the single shuttle plus Reaver. Remember that in the middle of the map?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just way easier to micro a smaller group of units and get value out of that than it is to try and move your entire army. And you know, when Bisu moves his entire army and it all gets clumped up, suddenly the 2 Reavers get a huge amount of value and just buys so much time as well. Like, it's so much less APM to just micro one group of like one shuttle than 3 units. It's kind of similar to how mutas function against Terran. You know, you just have to micro one group of units. Terran has to micro 3 groups of units. And I think Snow understands that most out of all the Protosses. And he's kind of the one who's pioneering this whole like skirmish style. And it works beautifully here.
Yeah, that attack that we saw at the very end, that was I guess the one moment where it was dicey for Snow, because as I pointed out, like his Reavers were at top right out in no man's land. He scrambled to get them back in time and obviously clutched it with the defense. So that was a quick series at 3-0. It's 7:09 on my clock. So we started at 6. We're an hour here later. You know, the games don't start immediately, and already we've got Snow into the round of 4.
Yeah, well, you know, the organizers are going to be not so pleased. They can't slam the new chair advertisements as much as they would like to. But it is what it is. Snow, I mean, you gotta, the silver lining about a performance like this is, you know, Snow just deserved it today. There's no questions. And, you know, even for Bisu, like, you kind of just take it on the chin. Well, you know, today just didn't go that well. It's not like oh, I could have if I did this or that. I mean, Snow just showed up and he played better, and he's into the round of 4.
Yeah, I think on any other day, Bisu definitely could have won the series, but today was just Snow's day. You know, we were talking about game 1. If I had a game 1 like that, where I held as ridiculously as he did, my confidence would be through the roof. I'd be like, dude, you're so dead this series.
Yeah.
There's no chance that you can beat me. And Snow, he's looking phenomenal. He's going to be the first one out into the round of 4 through the bottom side of the bracket. Of course, we've got one more remaining matchup, which is going to be pretty hype. It's going to be Mini versus StRyKeR. Mini, you know, always a contender, making it to the finals multiple times. But he's going to be facing off versus last season's champion, StRyKeR.
Yeah, that's going to be an insane match. A rematch of last season's final, where StRyKeR did win. So, I mean, Snow's looking incredible, man. You think he can go all the way?
Well, you know, I think he can go all the way. But the question to me is, who's going to stop him? Tell me who can beat him, based on what you've seen this season.
Any of the Zergs.
Okay, so there's one remaining. So what you're telling me...
No, I mean, Hero's on the other side.
Okay, Hero's at the other side. Okay, Hero and StRyKeR. Okay.
I actually think Hero's going to win this season.
Ooh, okay, so the jinx is coming in.
Well, what do you mean? You've already jinxed Snow.
I know, I've already jinxed Snow, so maybe it's the counter.
So it's going to be StRyKeR then.
So,
or Mini.
Well, StRyKER's got to get through Mini first.
I really have a feeling Hero's going to win this season.
All right.
Think about it, because I'm pretty sure he's going to win versus Sharp. And then in the final, he's either playing a Protoss, which he absolutely mauls usually, or he's playing StRyKER ZVZ.
People, Queen always talks about how bad StRyKER ZVZ is, but every time I see it, I'm like, what are you talking about, man? Like, when StRyKER loses, the ZVZs are like always close. They're like 3-2.
Yeah, but StRyKER has lost so many ZVZs in the ASL. It's been the bane of his existence, and probably why he hasn't had more ASL victories up until now. So I don't know, man. I think this season's looking ripe for Hero. And Hero's just an absolute monster in ZVP. I mean, he is insane in ZVP. So we'll see. StRyKER might take it against Mini, and then that'd be interesting to see him versus Snow. But it could also just be Mini winning tomorrow. I mean, tomorrow's going to be an insane matchup. That's going to be a lot of fun. I hope it's not going to be 3-0 like this. But, yeah.
I also hope it doesn't happened to be 3-0, but it has the potential because last season I think Sulky ended up beating Mini 4-1, and that's quite the beatdown. But I do hope that it at least gets to 3-1. 3-2 obviously is what we're dreaming for, but no
just
chance for
dominating.
Sharp. No chance for Sharp. You don't think he can get past Hero? I mean, Sharp's been playing on fire these games. Also,
Yeah, I mean,
I like how he mixes his builds. Like he doesn't just play 2 racks every game, right? Like he's played, what was it, 4 different build orders in his versus his previous opponent.
well, he hasn't played a Zerg yet, so and I think that's his worst matchup by far. Of course, he did beat Action in the wildcard qualifier, but Action Action's a very weird ZVTer. Like I think he has this gimmick style where he's very aggressive, and you either do well against it or you get smashed. And I mean, of course, Sharp has been showing us that this season has been his season. He's performed like an absolute god, securing that seed for himself for next season as well. So, of course, he might actually surprise us yet again. But I think against Hero, especially Hero coming off of a win against Rush, I mean, I really think Hero is the favorite to win. Just given the brackets that we have.
We're getting a rundown of how today went, and it did not go very well for Bisu because it was snow all day. That's the exact reaction I'm expecting to see from Snow after game 1. Look at that, just no thoughts on that game. Like, yeah, you 2-gated and you lost. And then set 2, absolutely crushed. And then set 3, the closest one, but the Reaver Micro, insane. And that does set us up for our last series of the round of 8 tomorrow, which we mentioned, Sulky versus Mini. And here we go. Map picks. Radion, number 1. We haven't seen that map that much. Then we've got Troy. Then we've got Dark Origin. We've got Blitz. And then Retro. We were wondering what the bans or what the vetoes were. And we see that Blitz, Y, and Retro were removed today.
Yeah, and tomorrow Apocalypse is not going to be part of that. And what's the other map? Citadel, yeah. And this is going to be a hype matchup. Troy game 2, that's going to be interesting. 100% we're going to see a Troy game, especially in PvZ. It's going to be crazy because it can, the simulators can snowball like with aggressive openings. So we'll see, man. I mean, this is, and especially Mini, he's a super like just high IQ gamer. He comes up with some insane preparation, especially in PvZ. So it's going to be hard for Sulky, but I mean, Sulky, defending champ, has won against Mini last season. So tomorrow's going to be really interesting.
Yep, and we got the caster screen coming in hot right now.
Yeah. Big caster screen right here.
As we stated before, this cast is, brought by StarCastTV. If you like the ASL and you want to see other games casted similar to ASL, you should check out the StarCastTV channel on YouTube, which I'm sure you're watching on right now, because we've got a bunch of tournaments going on. We had StarCastTV Season 1, which is like ASL Junior. I'm casting Season 2 right now. We've got an international invite tournament where they're going to be certain players are going to be facing off versus some pros, and that's going to be exciting when that comes out. And if you like the content that we're going to be making, check out our Patreon. You can see at the bottom, StarCastTV is the Patreon name, or becoming a supporter through YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nyoken, you did grace us with a stream earlier.
Yeah,
that was exciting.
Yeah, I already forgot how that stream went. Did it go well for me?
I don't know. I wasn't watching.
I know, you never are, man. You always talk about where's the Nyoken stream. It's like, well, there was one, but you weren't there.
Well, I'm waiting for the next one.
Yeah, so you can also not be there for that one.
No, of course, but think about it. If you stream every single day for the rest of your life, I will be there for one at some point, statistically speaking.
I think you were there for a hot minute. I think you like hit me with a question mark, and then that was the last I saw of you. Yeah, does that sound accurate? Right. That does not sound right. That sounds pretty accurate to me.
That doesn't sound right. Well, I'll be waiting for that stream to come online next this week.
Well, you may be surprised. I may turn it on and there I am in hell diving with you, or looking
And
for a party.
I know that's not. You're an absolute liar. You don't get my hopes up like that.
Mm.
We still have to play Baldur's Gate 3, man, but it's over now because it's Jover because
I
I'm
know
on
it's hard.
Helldivers too.
Well, it's Jover as soon as you talk about it. There's so many pictures that, like, Askia sends me. It's like about about people saying like, "Hey, let's all play this game," and then, "Oh, but you won't see me in 2 weeks from now." I'm like, "Yep, that sounds exactly like Gypsy. That's exactly him. I'm sure he made this meme."
Well, one game I haven't quit is Brood War.
Well, I know you've been consistently playing it on and off. You've been streaming a lot recently.
Yeah, I've been streaming a decent amount, and I will continue streaming, unlike someone here.
Yep.
I'll be waiting for you, on Twitch.
Indeed.
When are we gonna see Nyoken in NAPL?
An apple. I don't know, man.
Oh, never. Okay,
You guys,
that's what you mean.
You guys, well, there's definitely not going to be this week or the next.
I'm
week.
gonna if I ask Artosis to message you and ask you to play, will you play?
I don't know, because I don't really enjoy playing those things. But also, you guys have been doing it, what, Sunday night?
Yeah.
And you're playing until like almost midnight.
Oh,
and then
that's
I
right.
have to do ASL literally.
Well,
the
I
next
have to
day.
do ASL too.
Yeah, I know, but you're a crazy person. I don't know how you get up that early. And then also after this, I got to go to work.
Sure.
Whereas you just go into that thing behind you for a few
hours. I do not. No, I do not. Well, that looks like a war zone over there. But I do not sleep here. I sleep upstairs in my room.
Well, I think we're going to be wrapping up in just a moment. Castor Park, Casterly, and Into the Rain. Waiting for the signal. You gonna
they're waiting for production to tell them to wrap it up.
Yeah, you gonna be streaming today some more Helldivers?
No, I gotta practice. Come on.
Okay.
I got my priorities straight.
Well, if you're gonna practice, aren't you getting a little risky to stream those build orders? People can just go watch your
I don't care.
Oh, you don't care? It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely not. You can know what I'm doing. I'm still gonna come at you.
Still gonna win. Okay, You've heard it here. Guy is gonna go on a rampage this Saturday or Sunday, depending on when players agree to play. But that's it today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We're gonna switch over to the ASL screen, and we'll see you tomorrow with some Mini versus Sulky.